going to happen today. In a few seconds, I'll tell you a bit about DAO Brussels, so that like we're all a bit on the same line. And previous time we got feedback like, okay, DAO Brussels, what is it? So I'll try to clarify that. Then we'll split up this call into smaller groups. We like to call them discussion tables. And we will have a bunch of people from the community. There will be topics, and you can choose a topic that interests you. And the idea is really to ask questions, to contribute your own experiences, and to have a discussion about the topic at hand. Then at 8 p.m. well, we'll take a short break of 10 minutes, and then at 8 p.m. we will have two talks. The first one will be from Roderik van der Veer. He is the CTO at Settlemint, and he will like demonstrate his platform, and he will build a generative NFT art project in the 20-30 minutes live on the presentation, if I understand correctly. That's right, Roderik.
That is correct.
Okay then.
But closer to 30 than 20 minutes, by the way. But
okay, now we can take some extra time for that. No problem. I don't want to pressure you. And then we have the second talk of Marina Markezic. I hope I pronounce your name correctly, Marina.
You did. Thank you for asking.
Okay, perfect. And she will tell us some more about the current state of crypto regulation in the European Union. And then it will be around 9 p.m. And we as a community have a little gift for you because you showed up. So also definitely keep your Ethereum address ready, or an email address. And that will be like the main part of this Zoom call of this Crypto Wednesday. But you're free to like stick around and have like some more chats with like the people in this group. I think it's going to be fun. So yeah, let's have a quick look at what is DAO Brussels then. Like, what is DAO Brussels? And very simply put, it's you. It's like the people being here at one of our events. It's the people being in our Discord and interacting with the group, the community. So we're a group of self-organized people who are interested in crypto. And one of the important parts is that we want to share our knowledge with other people that are interested in crypto, but also with people that are new to the space. And we also want to provide a platform where people can come together, they can brainstorm ideas, and they can start a project of their own, be it like crypto, non-crypto, you name it. And yeah, to put it in the words of Xavier, how he said it in one of our meetings, it's like bring people together and good things will come out of that. So that's a bit like what is DAO Brussels, and now I'm like so what have we done so far? We have obviously the Crypto Wednesdays, like the one you see right now, and we also do like we try to come together like every Friday in the Citizen Corner in Schaerbeek, where we do a crypto co-working. So you're free to come there, work on your crypto or non-crypto related projects. Another thing that we're being part of is we're organizing an NFT contest. One goal of the NFT contest is to produce artwork that shows the people of Brussels what the city could look like. So imagine like a city of Brussels that's greener, that is less cars, that is has cleaner air to breathe, and it's like a place where people really come together and meet. So that's one goal of the NFT contest. And on the other hand, we also want to like help artists. We want to teach artists what exactly is an NFT and how can they use it to generate an extra revenue stream. So if you are an artist, or if you know an artist, definitely get in touch with us, because the deadline of the contest is at the end of this month. And yeah, we are really excited about this. And we have a panel of 4 jury members that work in the field of on one hand art, on one hand urban planning, and they get to pick like a few NFTs that the artist submits, and they get to distribute 5,000 euros. So we have a prize pool of 5,000 euros. Then another thing that DAO Brussels is currently doing is we're having a project called Refi Spring. It's actually part of a worldwide movement, and we want to organize an event in Brussels that focus on how we can use crypto to solve some pressing problems in today's society. Yeah, that was a little bit like about us, about DAO Brussels, about this community. So before we continue to the breakout rooms, are there maybe like any questions about this? If not, we can also chat afterwards, like after the presentations.
Sure, and maybe one thing to add, Bruno, because it's called DAO Brussels, so Decentralized Autonomous Organization Brussels. And that's not just because it's people maybe located in or around Brussels. It's got another dimension to it too, right? And I think the NFT contest links to it quite clearly. So the purpose of the DAO in Brussels. And to everybody here, we're shaping it still, but the goal is also to, when looking at projects, when making decisions, it's aimed at Brussels in a way. How does it bring something to the citizens here?
That's definitely true. Like the DAO part, to explain a bit technically, it stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And in essence, it's a group of people, but they often also share a common treasury. And yeah, that's one of the goals of our group as well.
Yep, thanks.
So let's get started with the discussion tables then. So for the people that are not familiar with Zoom, like in a few seconds at the bottom of your screen, there will be a button where you can click on and you can select a breakout room that you want to join. For today, we have 5 breakout rooms. We have Andrea, and if you want to learn anything about non-fungible tokens, NFTs, what are the latest projects that you should be looking at, how do you buy them, how do you sell them, then you can join Andrea's group. If you're, is Friedger here, by the way?
Haven't seen him yet in the list.
Let me message him right now.
Okay.
All right.
Then if you want to learn something about, if you want to talk about decentralized exchanges, automated market makers, or like other protocols that will change the financial system as we know it, then Sebastian is your man. And if you want to learn about programming on the blockchain, about maybe Solidity or what is a smart contract, how does it really work, then you can join the group of Zeki and discuss about that stuff. And if you're an absolute beginner and you need like, you have like basic questions, or you want to avoid common pitfalls, or you want to set up your wallets, I can help you with that. And maybe if there's like, since we're like with a a bit of a smaller group. Like if there's like people that want to propose a topic, that's also perfectly fine. Then we can make another group.
I just would like to announce that Friedger had an emergency. He will not be able to attend right now.
Okay.
So yes, it's quite urgent. So it's a family matter. So he won't be tonight.
Okay, I hope everything is fine with Friedger then.
Yes, hope so too. I'll open the 4 rooms then: NFTs, DeFi, Crypto 101, and blockchain development.
Sounds good.
And so if you can find your way, I'll be here in the main room to help you. So normally now you could see, and especially if you go down to the bottom of the screen and select the table. And maybe also important to notice that it's not a presentation happening in the room per se. It's more people gathering to talk about that topic, or asking questions, or asking even what does it mean. So go ahead and pick your room.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello.
Adriano?
Are we in the DeFi room?
Not yet. Do you want me to put you there?
Yes. Sorry, I thought I'd join.
Sure.
Also, I don't know if it's only for me, but I do not see the breakout room.
You don't see them.
Button.
Is there one? I can assign you to one. Which one would you like to go?
To Bruno's one, the Crypto 101.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
Somebody else still? Because I can help you teleport you to a room of choice. So if anyone here still wants help, I can send you to a room. Maybe Luis or Kitevan, Jacopo. Just let us know.
Or if you just want to chat with us, you can also do that.
Yeah. Welcome. Oh, still connecting to audio. Welcome.
Hello, Miles. How are you? Tu nous entends?
Hi, sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Go ahead. What's
Yes.
up?
I was looking for the event of NFTs. Is not this channel, or can
You want to go
redirect
to the NFT conversation?
Yes.
Okay.
With
I will.
company.
I'll zoom you to the NFT group right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
How to get to Ziki's room?
Let me put you there. Zika is blockchain development. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miles, on t'entend pas. We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
T'es en mute.
Ah, voilà.
Voilà. Non, je t'entends. All right. So Miles, ça va. Right now, on est en train de faire les discussion tables.
Ouais, j'ai entendu. Je crois que j'aimerais bien aller sur celle sur la création des NFT.
NFT creation. Okay, great.
Sure. There you go.
See you, Miles.
See you.
All right. So Jacopo, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you want me to move you to a room, then give me a sign. I can help you go to one. Hello, welcome. As you,
Hi.
oh, I think I stopped the share, did I?
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
great.
I can hear you.
Hello.
Just need to share that. So welcome, Pierre-Yves. I don't know, you were there last time too, right?
No, the second time. I was
time.
there last time.
Super. Well, we'll have the discussion tables open in breakout rooms now. Would you like me to help you go to one of the rooms? We have NFTs. Unfortunately, the host for on-chain identity feature couldn't make it tonight. Or DeFi, blockchain development, crypto 101.
Maybe NFT for today.
All right, sending you there. You can jump around, right?
Yeah.
You can still change. Enjoy. Hello, welcome, Marta. You're still on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I was already in a meeting, but I had a problem with my microphone, so I'm gonna try to go again to the NFTs meeting.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sending you there. Enjoy.
Yeah, let's give the stage to Roderik. So maybe a little bit of an introduction is in place. He is the one of the founders and the CTO of Settlemint. And his presentation will be about building like a generative NFT art project from scratch, right, on their platform. So Roderik, the stage is yours.
All right. Thanks for the introduction. So the blockchain space is full of people who talk. And as an ITer, I hate people who talk and don't do anything. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a trading card game on the Polygon mainnet. See how it goes. It's always exciting live. And after the session, send me your blockchain address or ENS link, and I'll transfer you one. So everyone has at least one NFT at the end of this session.
Woohoo!
All right. It's gonna be worth exactly $0, but at least you have a picture of a nice dog. All right. So this is what we're gonna build. A trading card game in the NFTs breakout session. Somebody mentioned it already. Think of it as a Magic the Gathering card or a Pokemon card or whatever. You have a card, you have a subject, it has some credentials, it has some settings, and it's a nice picture. And on a blockchain level, that is described in metadata, meaning there is some values here. So 25% of all the trading cards are English Cocker Spaniels. That is because I have only 4 subjects in this demo. It has some statistics. They're all very nice dogs. They all have 100% boost of fluff, and they were born somewhere last year. Now, the card game, the card in itself is just a card. It isn't a game until you make it a game. You need to play it somewhere. It has to have some value in something outside of the NFT, but this is the basis of it. So we're going to start, and we're going to do this live. There are going to be some parts where it's taking a while, when it has to mint all these NFTs on the blockchain, for example. It has to deploy some things. And at that point in time, I will pick out some other pieces that I can talk about while we wait. So this is the Settlemint platform. It's a low-code platform for blockchain development. It has everything and every tool you need in the browser to build professional blockchain applications. NFTs, financial instruments, and everything in the middle. Low code in the sense that you will see a lot of code. Low code in the sense that everything is pre-built, pre-made, fully templated out. At no point in time, you don't have access to the source code of what you're doing. Because the biggest problem with no code and low code solutions is that at some point you will need code, and then you will have to start again from scratch. And then you gained absolutely 0% of time. Our clients are people who actually put blockchain projects into production for years in banks, just in the crypto world. We did a project with AB InBev to track barley to beer. So it's quite wide and varied, and they all use this platform to build their solutions. So let's start. We need a blockchain. I have a full setup, the thing you just saw. I did it this afternoon in case something goes wrong on the testnet, but we're going to do it on the mainnet. So we're going to add a blockchain network, Polygon mainnet. We're going to call our node our mainnet node. And what we provide is shared node for a lot of things that are also dedicated and on-premise solutions. You can pick your cloud provider, you can pick your region, and you can pick which size of blockchain node do you want, and all payments are per hour. Not going to talk very much on how the business model works. You can figure that out later. That's not important. Look, a nice dog. If we have a picture, we can add him. Okay, so we confirm this. Now the blockchain network is deploying. This is just a placeholder. And at the same time, a blockchain node is deploying. What is this blockchain node? That is how you connect to the blockchain itself. You will see here in the logs, you will see all the actions that are being executed on the blockchain. You can follow how much is being used, your specific nodes over time. You can call transactions on it. For example, what is the current block number? And this looks all technical, but this is part of our philosophy. We have abstraction layers higher and higher and higher up in the stack, but at no point do we close off anything at the bottom of the stack. So yes, this is a technical part, and in further next steps, it will be less technical. But if something goes wrong, you need the technical bits to figure it out. So that's why they're here. You can see the logs of all the requests that are being executed on this on your own blockchain node. What did they do? What was the response? What did we get back? Okay. So our blockchain node will be almost done. At the same time, let's jump over an NFT. Again, very simple, and I can't explain all the concepts. An NFT is two things. Well, actually three things. It is a record on the blockchain, which we're going to make a little bit later. It is a JSON metadata file. So it's a piece of text which defines the information about what the NFT is. And it is an image. Mostly, can also be something else, but mostly it's an image. Now, where do you store these things? You can store them in a traditional API-based server, but typically you would store them on a decentralized file storage as well, for which everyone is using IPFS. IPFS is the Interplanetary File System, which is a very funny name if you say it in an enterprise context, because everyone looks at you like you're insane. But the reasoning behind the name is very simple. It is because the problems between a decentralized file system between, for example, here, Belgium and Singapore is the same problem you have, a little bit less, but the same problem you have between here and Mars. You have latency, you need to share files. You cannot just send everyone every file. So this is the problem that it solves. What is an IPFS server? It's essentially an FTP, a file sharing server. You can put folders on there. You can put files in there. You can look at them. And what is special about IPFS is that the files you put on there, they get hashed. Everyone is, okay, a hash is a unique identifier of the contents of your file. Change one letter, your hash is different. But the hash is the identifier of the file on IPFS, but it's also the address. So by combining the two, if you get a file from IPFS, you immediately are sure that you're getting a file with the contents that your hash describes. This makes it immutable. Now imagine if you put that hash on a blockchain, which makes it immutable as well, then you have an immutable link between your file and your thing that you have on the blockchain. So our blockchain node is here now. We have storage. I'm not going to launch a new one. We don't need one. We have, next step, smart contracts. Okay, how do you do smart contracts? We're going to do smart contracts on our mainnet node. There's a bunch of templates in here ranging from state machines, mostly supply chain tracking is done with those, ERC 20, token sales, meta transactions, ERC 721s, we have trading card game set, we have a generative art set, and some more supply chain cases. We're going to take the trading card game set, and we're going to call it the meta docs for DAO Brussels. It's my IDE. Since we're going to be generating a bunch of images, I'm not going to go for a small, I'm going to go for a medium. And this will deploy as well. I'll already describe what is in those files before we execute it directly. What we bring is an online VS Code. So an IDE in the browser. I'll open it up in a full window so it's easier to work with. And let's go through some of the setup which is available in here. So how do you make these trading card games? It all looks very cool, but it is incredibly simple if you know how. It is all a matter of layering transparent PNGs on top of each other. So when you launch such a template set, you get this Metadog example that we're going to do completely built inside of here for you to start off with and adjust. We start off with backgrounds. We're going to make a trading card set. We have common cards, limited cards, rare cards, and unique cards. And what is the difference? Well, it's mostly the background. So this one, the common ones are green, the rare ones are purple. So I'm totally not a designer. I had somebody have these made for me, but it's the background. And what you see here already, if you look at an entire collection, is that it immediately gives a visual difference between the different cards. So the blue ones, the red arrows. What does that mean in your game? That's up to the game. Why is a rare one more special than a common one? There are less of them, but what does that mean is for your game. So where were we? Then we have subjects. Now, how many layers you do is up to you. You can have 2 layers, 3 layers, 5 layers, 1,000 layers, doesn't matter. So we have Aiko, which is my dog. And then we have 3 other ones that we stole from, bought from stock images, because we don't have that many dogs in the company that are pretty enough to put on these trading card games. On top of that, we're going to put a little bit of an overlay. This is the box. And again, we have them in the correct colors. And we have some fonts. Now, how are we going to, that's one part. Next up is metadata. So when we look at the metadata, it's an alternative description of the card. So when you have the Aiko card, it has a description. We list a bunch of things like their breeds, how much it sheds, that kind of stuff. So this is very easy to make. Do you want to make more? You copy paste them, you change to different traits. That's all completely possible. Now we have to combine these elements into the actual images for our project. And for this, the platform gives you a few tasks which you can start to work from. So let's start with the top level task. We are going to generate cards. We're going to upload those cards to IPFS. Then we're going to generate the metadata. Why? Because the cards, there's the image IPFS hash needs to go into the metadata. And we're going to upload the metadata as well. Again, very simple. There's a simple tasks. How many commons, limited rares, and uniques do you want? On which of the IPFS nodes do you want to launch them? And then we just loop through our generate function enough times. Okay, so that's the generation part. Now, when we look at how is the card being built, this uses a Node.js package called Canvas, which is specifically made to work with images in a programming language. So we're going to make a folder, we register some of the fonts, and then essentially what we're doing is very simple. We get the size of the background image, then we need to rescale it a little bit that it fits in our card, and we're going to load that image into our canvas. Then we're going to take the subject, we also get the dimensions of it, and we're going to load the subject on top of it. So now we have 2 layers in one image. Then we're going to go a little bit further and we're going to take the overlay and we're going to put it over again. Then, if you remember how these cards look like, there was all kind of text on there. This is, of course, very specific to how you have designed your cards. But very simply, in the middle, this font, we're going to put the dog's name on an X and a Y coordinate. So you just figure out where you want it and you print it. When you build something like this, you're generating your images hundreds of times until they are exactly the way you like them. We put all the different information that we want to print on there on the card. And lastly, we're going to save the file to the generated file. So what do you get when you execute this function? In the generated folder, cards, Aiko common, you get card number 1, 1 of 5, card number 2, 2 of 5. And since you have complete control over the generation mechanism, this is just an example. Maybe you have much more complex cards. Maybe you have much more simpler cards. Maybe you have 10 stats you want to put on there. And when I was young, we have these cards with like trucks and cars on them that had like 20 statistics. You can build here whatever you want. And this is where the freedom of not completely locking you into low code kind of conflicts with ease of use. It is still, even if it's low code, it is still programming. So it's not the magical here, upload something and you have an NFT, because that's only fine if you want to do standard stuff. This allows you a lot more context. Now, if you look at the other function here, contract, the metadata function is then built to build specific metadata, which is recognized by platforms like an OpenSea. So there's a format that you need to take, and also that format allows you to do cool stuff. So remember, we had the breed was just in general a piece of text. When we looked here, this was just breed. When you look at Bored Apes or CryptoPunks or all those things, they have like 15 of these properties, but nothing else. Since we're making a game, we want to do it a little bit more special. So we also have how much does it chat, and this is a format specifically which OpenSea, and since it's the biggest one, everyone else kind of follows the same structure. We want to display this as a number, and that it's out of 5. What do you get when you do something like this? You get stats, 5 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. The boosts are similar. Then you have to give it the name boost number, or you have to call it the date. With these parameters, essentially, you can build any complexity of metadata around your NFT. And what you see here as a parameter, you're going to give it the hash of the card that we've uploaded. Because what is the NFT? The blockchain will point to this file that we generate, and I'll show you a completed file so it makes more sense. The blockchain will point to the IPFS hash of this file. And in this file, we point to the image, which is another IPFS hash. So now we have linked the blockchain to this metadata file uniquely and immutably, and this metadata file then does the same thing towards the image. So now we have the metadata, we upload that as well to the chain, and then we move on to the actual smart contracts. Now I'm going to see if my blockchain has, if my smart contract set has already launched. Yes. So we're going to do it for real now, all in, and you can see how this works. Good. So we have contracts. In the contracts folder, you have Metadog. This is what we call an advanced ERC20. Why? Because it is configured with things like, with a whole bunch of things that you need in the NFT ecosystem. Gasless transactions on OpenSea, that is pre-configured. All the benefits, everything you need to work with pausing and unpausing if you have a problem, minting, freezing your metadata so that you can give more security that your data is not changing, and of course, and that whitelisting. In an upcoming release, I think probably next week or the week afterwards, this template set will be augmented with capabilities for delayed reveals, meaning you first reveal a placeholder image, and then whenever your marketing campaign reaches a certain point, you reveal the actual images. But that would go too far for today. So we have a contract. It's very simple. We have to give it a name, a symbol, the proxy address, and the contact meta address. How do we deploy this? The setup here is a fully capable hard hat setup. So we base ourselves on the best practices in the ecosystem, because there's no way that we as a company can completely replace everything the ecosystem is doing with something that is better. So we leverage the best tools, and this is the value that we bring to people using this. You don't have to worry about, is this the best tool to do it? We have done that for you. But if you want, install more tools. This is fully capable. You have a terminal, you can install extra packages. You can essentially do whatever you want. So the deploy script is what actually does the blockchain part of things. And this, I know this looks more scary than it actually is, but we need to get the proxy registry address for OpenSea on the network that we're going to be deploying on. So our collection name is not going to be Metadocs. We're going to call this Metadocs DAO Brussels. Metadocs DAO Brussels is our collection symbol. We have some extra metadata which you can add on contract level. We're going to deploy the Metadoc contracts, and we need to save some of the metadata so we can use it later on. The next step is the issuance. So we're going to run that Metadoc task that we've just seen, and we're going to create 5 commons, 3 limited, 2 rares, and 1 uniques. And we're going to mint them on the smart contract. What is minting on the smart contract? Minting is creating the next NFT in your collection. So when we deploy the contract, we have 0 NFTs in there. But when we call the mint function, and this is a very simple one, we're going to say to which address, and we're going to give it the metadata URI. We're going to increase the number. So the first one will be number 1, the second one will be number 2, etc. And we are going to put the metadata URI inside of that NFT so that that's linking to the thing we have on IPFS. The platform will completely pre-configure everything. So we are already connected to our IPFS node. We are connected to a private key, which you can use in the platform as well. You can use your own private keys if you want to. We allow you to do it here as well. We have 2 kinds. We have accessible ones and HSM ones. For this specific use case, we pick accessible ones because we will need to add the private key to our MetaMask to configure our OpenSea collection in a bit. An HSM one, this is a type of key in a security module where nobody can get access to the private key. It's more common in banking applications and less in pure crypto space. So we have a key. Luckily, everything which is secret is hidden. Otherwise, you could have stolen all my NFTs that I have in this address. And this is the address that we're going to use. This is connected to a way, to an automatic way that we can sign transactions with this key out of our IDE. So let's get to it. Executing the deploy task, just like we programmed. So quick check. We're going to do Metadocs DAO Brussels, MDB. And we're going to do the deploy. And this is the scary bit. Will this work? Do I have enough Matic on my wallet? I do, and it will not work, and I will tell you why. Since we have a signing mechanism, you have to determine on which node your, so we have 1 Matic. The nice thing about Polygon is that the transaction fees are very, very cheap. The entire mint of the example I did on the testnet, I started with half a Matic. So for 0.04 Matic, which is like a Matic is 1.55 euro USD at the moment. So for cents, if even that, we've minted this entire NFT collection. This is really interesting. So you have 1 on the mainnet, but we do have to enable this key on our mainnet node, otherwise it won't work. So enabled, and we can do it again, play. This will now compile our contract, start executing these 2 steps, and it will start the image generation as well and upload everything to IPFS. I'm gonna scroll this up a little bit. It's compiling the contracts. It's compiling also TypeScript types for your contracts, makes it very easy to program with them because you cannot make a mistake. We have uploaded the base logo and the contract metadata to IPFS. We've deployed the smart contract on chain. We immediately give you the command you will have to execute later on to verify your contract on Polyscan. We're now generating all the different cards. And this is a set of only 44. Why? Because doing a demo with a 10,000 NFT set would take forever. So this goes quite quickly, and luckily we are not over 44 people, so everyone can get an NFT at the end. So it's doing Pepper now. Now I'm going really, really fast in doing this because I've done this thing 1 billion times already. When you do your first one, you're going to do this so much before you actually go to the mainnet that You would think he was lying to you in that session, but we know everything. We've tested everything with dozens of clients, meaning that we are now reaching the minting point. So metadog mint, and immediately I'm going to take the transaction hash and show you on Polyscan what is happening here. You have to wait a little bit. There it is. So it's actually now in the background executing these transactions. And if you haven't seen this yet, this is the transaction hash. Again, using that hash mechanism, meaning it's a unique identification of whatever happened. It was included in this block from my private key to the contract, and the call that we made minted 1 metadogs DAO Brussels. Token ID 1. And this was then transferred back into my wallet. So now it is in my wallet. What is happening? You can see even more information all the way up to the actual function call that was executed on chain. You cannot see anything more because I haven't executed that command to register the contract, to register the source code of the contract yet. But you can see it here now, happily minting NFTs for very, very little money. If you take a look here, so a mint of an NFT for 1 cent. That's a price you cannot beat anywhere else. You have to take into account when you design your NFT collection, where am I going to launch it? So Polygon is a level 2 blockchain. There is a little bit less traffic. It's also newer. So a lot of people still decide to go for more expensive mints on the Ethereum mainnet because it has a certain flair. Why would you go eat at the McDonald's when you can go next door to the fancy burger joint? It's probably kind of the same thing, but it has a better feeling. So it's still minting. Let's see where we are. It's going to continue for a bit. While this is working, let's take a quick look at our storage. So in the file manager, what do we have now? We have a metadog folder with this hash. And then we have ICO common ICO1. And you see here the metadata for this file. Now, if you take this link, and it depends a little bit on what browser you use, but if you want to use blockchain stuff, you need a browser that can support MetaMask. And then if you have to choose, do I choose a browser by Google or by somebody else? People end up with Brave. It's just Chrome from Google, but without the Google stuff. But it also has IPFS integration built in. So I can actually browse to this link, and now we go to a completely third-party website that has nothing to do with us or what you're doing. And it will show us the metadata of this file. Now this can take a while because in IPFS, the data has to now be fetched out of the network to show. So we will come back to that when it's done loading. There's always the first time that it's slow. After that, it goes a lot faster. So we have the metadata. We're here. We have the image is here as well. So we have everything we need to do this. Probably from the demo perspective, would have been better if we printed some date on it, so you know that I didn't do this beforehand and now I'm lying to you. But trust me on this. It's always good in blockchain to trust other people without any factual basis. So it will be totally fine. We're probably almost done minting. Now we actually have done the full thing, and I'm also at the end of my time. So I'm going to show you one last thing. We're going to put it on OpenSea and we're going to put it for sale. So this is our contract address. We go to OpenSea. I'm going to do my collections, import an existing smart contract, live on a mainnet, on Polygon. I'm going to give it the address, submit. Boom. Metadogs DAO Brussels trading card game has launched on the mainnet. it's loading all the metadata. You will see we're only at, so it's still loading because this number is still 0. So now OpenSea has to fetch all the information out of the smart contract to show you. We're only at 36 at the moment because it was still minting. OpenSea will continuously update that information to get it. And now theoretically, I can say, wait, who am I logged? I'm logged in as myself. Never mind. Log out. I want to connect with the wallet account that I sent it from. This is me. Look at how many nice NFTs that I have. Now I can say sell. I'm going to sell this for 1 ETH. And then you have to go through the acceptance steps. This didn't, OpenSea is not always the most stable, as you see right now. So actually selling your NFT, apparently it doesn't, there it goes. Signing some transactions. Yeah, but it had the same problem on the testnet earlier today. So OpenSea yet again has an issue, but you could put it for sale very easily. And yeah, so that's it. NFT launched in 34 minutes and we started 4 minutes late, so 30 minutes. So yeah, so send me your ENS link or your blockchain address in the chat and I will start transferring NFTs to you if you want, and otherwise don't. Who cares? It's not worth anything anyway, but it has the DAO Brussels name in it, so it's like a badge. That's what gives it value. You should have one. All right, that's it for me.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Anyone has any questions after the all the talks? I'm here. And you can.
I left with Bruno for his, but I have many
first.
questions.
This was great. Thank you so much, Roderik.
Emily or Saul, if there's one question you want to start off with, do go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you for all the information, actually. I have several questions. I want to know exactly what is the difference to make it with Ethereum and not make it with your platform.
Polygon.
Yeah. No, so Polygon is not our platform. If you want to do it on Ethereum, you can launch Ethereum nodes as well.
Okay. Okay.
So you have Ethereum, which has very expensive gas fees.
Yes,
Minting
I know.
NFT collection, 2,000 to 5,000 euros.
Yeah.
Polygon is a level 2 blockchain, so it's connected to the Ethereum network. But it has gas fees of what you saw now, 1 cent per NFT.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same code. So I can launch an Ethereum node right now, do the same thing, and it would also deploy it. But then this demo would have been quite expensive, and this is a free speaking engagement, so that's not quite possible. And of course, your transaction times are slower on Ethereum as well. Then Polygon is really fast.
Okay, I want to ask you, your office is in Brussels or is another place?
Well, our office is in, our headquarters is in Leuven.
Okay.
But with COVID and the fact that everyone is spread out in our other offices around the world, we're all at home. So this demo was brought to you from Veer.
Okay, perfect. But is possible to contact you?
Yes.
Okay. What is the best way to contact you?
I'll share the link to Settlemint's website in the chat.
Yeah, actually, I prefer the contact face-to-face just for, I possible going to Leuven, it's not any problem actually, and meeting in a coffee is not any problem. Yeah,
but there's nobody in Leuven. There's just an empty office because we're all at home due to COVID. But I'll send you I'll send you the information.
Super.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else have some comment or a question to ask Roderik? Nothing sensitive about the dogs chosen, please, but something else.
This is just a real cool presentation, and I think that most of us right now just want to create our own collection. So thanks a lot. Is it also accessible for B2C or only B2B? if we want to just know.
No, I totally forgot to do the sales pitch. Go to settlemint.com, go to the top right or something, try it for free. You get 250 euros of free credits. If you're fast, you can do an entire deploy, including setup, before your credits run out. So you can do it for free.
Sorry?
Apart from the gas fees, we're not paying that for you.
And how much is necessary to pay for the gas fees?
I did this demo with 10 cents in Matic. So you can just buy it on an exchange and you're done.
What's the site again?
I'm just posting it here.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And
but I'm a man, I cannot talk and type at the same time. So it's...
if you want to create the collections, share it in the Discord. Huh? And then we can send everything also to Roderik so you can see what we have done.
Yeah, I will be make a collection with my little dog.
Settlemint also has a Discord if you have questions while you're trying to use the platform. But we're also in the DAO Brussels chat somewhere. So ping me if you have a question. It's always roderik.eth everywhere.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And now, how do we send you our address?
Just paste it in the Slack, in the chat, and I'll start transferring.
All right. Are there any other questions for Roderik? It seems there's no questions anymore. Thank you so much, Roderik. That was an amazing presentation. Like, as a developer myself, I really liked that you explained, that you showed the code and everything. And I hope that for the people that are not so familiar with code, that it wasn't too scary, but it's also such a great way to explain what an NFT really is, you know. And with that, we go to the second speaker. We have Marina Markezic today, and she's part of the European Crypto Initiative. And Marina, if I see you, there you are.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
Take the floor.
Great, thank you so much, Bruno, and congrats, Roderik. This was an impressive presentation. So I hope I will not be too boring with this regulatory, presentation, but it is an important thing, and I think that if you're interested in crypto, this is also something that it's worth knowing, or at least being up to date. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit today about the EUCI and the new European crypto regulation. The European initiative, crypto initiative, as we call our organization, has been born approximately a year and a half ago, when the new markets and crypto assets regulation was issued as a draft from the European Commission. And it is a regulation that would regulate all the issuance and also service providers that use crypto assets. So at that time, Simon, Florian, and I met, and we said, okay, this is a very important regulation. We want to do something about it, and we want to educate regulators about crypto assets, because what we saw in that regulation was very good. In general, we support it because it's going to build trust and also legal clarity, although in all the European countries. But at the same time, there were some things that we wanted to chat about or educate regulators about. So this is why we said, okay, let's make an initiative and let's start working on it. So we are the three founders. We are all working in our national organizations. My name is Marina and I'm coming from Slovenia. So I'm a part of the blockchain think tank Slovenia. Simon is from France and he is the founder and he was the president of ADAN. And Florian in the same way in Bundesblock in Germany. So this is how we start together. Was the first time when a regulation like this, a big regulation, actually was issued in the European Union. So it was also the first time when we said we need to work on the EU level, not only on the national level. I want to start with something very high level about narratives and crypto in general. You're probably interested in crypto, you're reading crypto media, and you see that there are many narratives when it comes to crypto. And what we believe is that it's possible to picture it as a utopia, so in a very positive way, or as a dystopia in a negative way, and seeing all the negative consequences that using blockchain might bring to the society. Unfortunately, what we see by the media, it is mostly the negative part, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about here. So everyone that is in the community, I'm coming mostly from the Ethereum community, is very excited about the technology, is very excited about the new stuff that is coming, especially DeFi and NFTs in the last months and years. Of course, we meet and gather at different events, and everything seems like very interesting. And of course, we also follow interesting and optimistic news about new developments. But at the same time, what the general public sees, and I think the part of it is also the regulators, is the news that says, you know, blockchain and crypto is used for money laundering. Blockchain also, especially Bitcoin, uses a lot of energy, so it's a threat to climate change. And mostly, just as media is working, there are negative news. So at this moment, what is happening is that not only in Europe, but all over the world, there is an increased activities by governments aimed to regulate crypto. And what is, I would say in a way problematic, but it's kind of an interesting issue, is that decentralization in general and public networks are very hard to understand. If we think about law existed already in the Roman times. So the Roman law, it was always seen as something that is centralized and is also regulating centralized entities. So when we talk about decentralization, when we talk about decentralized autonomous organizations, similar to the Brussels DAO, it is very hard to grasp how does this even work? Is it possible that it works this way? You know, where is the manager? Can I talk to somebody that is responsible? And those people and those organizations would then be following the law and following the compliance. But at this moment, when we think about decentralized networks, it's very hard to identify one entity that would be then responsible for being compliant. And at the same time, we also see, as I said, there's quite a lot of negative narratives shared around blockchain in general. And I think this is quite important. The second very important thing is that those are the people that are deciding about our future, and those are regulators that are, of course, responsible regulators, but at the same time, it's quite a different group from the people that are using blockchain. And it's also very different, I would say, in the there is an age gap, and there's might be also a technical gap. So we would, what our aim is to try to educate and give more information to the regulators, because of course they are not dealing with technology and blockchain every day, and of course they don't have as much time as possible. So really getting the most like I would say general, but also very timely information to them and help them make better and good decisions. So what in general regulators fear that crypto can do? Crypto, I'm talking about DeFi, NFTs are not that threatening, but anything that I think it is connected to DeFi or decentralization. Usually they refer to lack of control, speculation, shadow banking, average Joe's losing money. Before we were talking in our DeFi group today about everyone investing into blockchain because they think they're going to get rich. That could be quite dangerous. Of course, the energy consumption has been a very important topic, especially in the last weeks. We saw a big shortage of natural gas in the European Union, and this is, I would say, also a consequence of this. So there has been different regulators saying that the proof of work should be banned. Proof of work is the system, how Bitcoin and at the moment also Ethereum work, as opposed to proof of stake that doesn't use that much energy. The second thing that we also hear in the media very often is about hacks. Every time a DeFi platform is hacked, we hear about in the news about money laundering, financing terrorism, and of course, the threat to finance fiat dominance in general. I need to say that there is speculation that the MiCA regulation was written also because of the announcement of the Facebook Libra. As we saw, I think in last weeks, this project is not going to happen. But we still have the regulation. But what also crypto can help us in is a new financial system. It has financial tools for unbanked people. It can help us define ethical finance. And of course, it's a part of open source protocol and open source development, which is also a very important part of crypto. There's a lot of innovative projects, a lot of innovative companies, as we saw today. I would say the really big innovators at the moment in Europe when it comes to fintech are definitely interested in crypto and looking into crypto. There could be better value distribution. Crypto also means tools for financial independence. It brings transparency, as we heard today, and also new payment systems. So when we talk to different projects in the space, they say, you know, crypto blockchain is unstoppable, so the regulation cannot stop us. You cannot stop miners, you know, building these systems. But at the same time, when we talk to the regulators, we are aware that those projects cannot be stopped, especially in the back end, but can be badly damaged. So the regulators or different entities can prosecute developers, deployers, users, token holders. That could be a prohibition to use of this, especially DeFi, by institutions and normal consumers. So that would limit DeFi to just specific use cases and to very knowledgeable individuals. There could be also controlled at the gates. So force exchanges and other brokers to limit DeFi or other cryptos that would not be regulated. At the same time, there could be domains taken down or front ends. And of course, they would deny the Nobel Prize for economics to Vitalik. This is a very important one. But there are, let's say, different ways how this is done. I can illustrate one example. At this moment, we have the official draft, but there has been also drafts from the council and also from the parliament. And at the moment, it is prohibited in Europe to issue decentralized stablecoins. So I think this is quite an important thing, and every project that wants to offer their stablecoins or in general any other crypto or service, they need to comply with MiCA when MiCA will be, of course, applicable. So it's not only the markets in crypto assets regulation that is happening in Europe, but we have new regulation coming. Also the anti-money laundering area, there's going to be a new regulation on tax and fraud evasions. And of course, there's new regulation on national levels. Also in US, we see more agency-based approaches, but of course, you can hear a lot of new developments also in the media. Unfortunately, I need to say that most of the crypto-related legal topics are covered for the US markets in general. So this is also why we wanted to work on the EUCI to bring more awareness to what's happening in EU. And there's new regulations coming up all over the world. So what is the solution? When we were thinking about what we can do and what would be kind of the principles of what EUCI would be based on, we were thinking about possibilities to embrace open blockchains, to recognize DAOs as legal persons. We have seen this already being very I would say, progressively done in Wyoming in US, encourage self-custodial management of funds, create obligations that are adopted to DeFi, which again is linked to decentralized use cases, empower startup to develop innovative financial services, promote financial inclusion, and leverage self-sovereign identity. All of this is possible because of the technology we can use today. So what we can do, what we are doing in the last year and a half, we would like to create a sustainable, credible crypto and DeFi native lobbying organization to talk to regulators, to share positive views on the crypto world, educate, work on draft proposals for future regulation, and respond to all the calls for comments. So this can be quite, I would say, intensive work, because we get, there's all the feedback that we are sending to the regulators needs to be very timely. There's a lot of meetings in different institutions that are talking about different questions and parts of the regulation. So we are trying to answer to those questions and trying to give feedback as quickly as possible, and giving, as I was saying before, information that can be relevant to their decision making. So at the same time, as a community, I think it's very important to self-regulate as much as possible, and just in general, create acceptable compromises for the DeFi space. So our proposal, and what we think is very, very important and has not been seen or done very much in the crypto space, is to be a neutral voice that can share the ethos and the long-term vision of crypto with the institutions in a coherent way. So what we see is that there's a lot of different subgroups of crypto, there are different blockchains, and as we think today that all the open networks and permissionless blockchains, they're all in the same boat when it comes to regulation. And this is also what we want to promote. We want to promote the principles and the logic behind all those projects, and we want them to come together to work for the better future and for the better regulation for crypto. So just in general, the markets in crypto assets regulation, as I was saying before, it's regulating the issuance and also the service providers that would be providing services to the European users. And just in general, our opinion at this moment is that when it comes to MiCA, we would like to see more allowance for DeFi and other decentralized use cases, so that those use cases could also prosper and could work within the European Union. We would want to see more proportionality, especially when it comes to smaller companies like startups versus bigger networks and bigger companies, or even banks. Equal opportunities between incumbents and newcomers. So for the newcomers, it's going to be much harder to be compliant in the future. So this is also where we want to help, and just in general, adopt operational requirements, especially to the size of the entities. So our motto, just in general, it's let's stop the FUD and spread the positive crypto vibes. Thank you. I'm very happy to get your questions. I see that there's something in the chat already.
Thank you so much for the information.
Andrea, you have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andrea.
Thank you, Bruno, and thank you, of course, Marina, for the presentation. This was a very interesting. I'm very much interested in the lobbying world. I come from a lobbying background. Also being in Brussels for so long, I'm interested in narratives. So how fast different narratives go from one to another? What's interesting? What's sexy for regulators? What they would like to touch right now, and then not after 2 months? How fast is it possible to recognize what's interesting and what we can influence in the crypto world? What sort of regulation can we influence, and how fast is it possible to recognize it and then create a communication campaign, act upon it from your experience? Do you think it goes too fast, that they first focus on tax, then focus on something else, then on NFTs, then on something else? or do you think it's possible to recognize it in a certain time frame where different actions, different things are actually possible to achieve?
Yes, thank you for this question. I think it is possible. So like MiCA was issued the first draft like a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have another few months, maybe 6 months until the draft is going to be finalized. We don't know yet, but it's also going to be dependent on the French presidency. So I think that could be possible. And I think that some of the efforts, a lot of the efforts of our organization in the future, especially, but also of others, is going to be focused on that. And for example, you know, I can see every week and every month how they're, depending on what's happening, their kind of focus is shifting, or the narratives are changing. For example, at the beginning, you know, this proof of work ban was not that popular, and right now we can see in the last weeks and months that this is very, very true. We have seen, I think it's the president of ESMA that was quoted by Financial Times that, you know, this proof of work needs to be banned, which is a very, very important statement from such an official, because also ESMA will have a big role in markets in crypto assets. So, and also what we have seen in the past is that now with the French presidency, we see that NFTs are becoming also more important. And they're linked to the cultural heritage of maybe a state, or like a culture in general in Europe. And of course, in general, NFTs are not that problematic because they are non-fungible. And usually when it comes to financial regulation, fungibility is a very important element. So all the fungible crypto assets are going to be, of course, more regulated. And NFTs in general are defined in MiCA, but they also say that markets in crypto assets regulation is not going to regulate them. So in a way, I think what I find the most efficient is identify the regulators, the people that are really responsible and they are taking part in the meetings and talking to them one-on-one. That is, kind of the highway. But at the same time, of course, I think it's also very important to be present in relevant news like political and others that everyone reads in Brussels. And when it comes to the other part of the coin, the other community that we also serve is the crypto community. So they're, writing about MiCA in the crypto media.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a bit informal question actually. Now you are a bit like in connection with the regulatory parties. So I'm curious about in Europe, do you think there will be DAOs like possible as in Wyoming this year? And where will it be, in which country?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We have discussed this also in our Telegram group because we see that a lot of people want to build DAOs also within Europe. And at the moment, we are not aware of any legislative process that would end up in a similar with a similar result as Wyoming at this moment. So that would be the answer. But MiCA does talk about decentralization, and the requirement there is that everyone that wants to issue or offer services to European unions needs to be incorporated in the European Union. So first, the word incorporation, which means that you cannot do that as a DAO, as an incorporated entity, if you think that if you think that these two go together in a DAO definition, because we have seen so many ideas of what a DAO is. But at the same time, there's like just practically and also historically, there's been so many entities incorporated in Switzerland and they're operating from there. And maybe they have another entity in US, but not many have an entity in EU. So this is also going to be an operational task for them in the future when MiCA is going to be active.
All right. Are there any other questions for Marina? It seems like there aren't. Thank you so much for giving this talk. I can understand like sometimes it's a bit dry material to talk about the legality and stuff. It's like stuff that most people don't want to like think about in their day-to-day life, but you're like super right that it's like a really important moment right now, and that's, did I understand correctly that as a community we should start better like organizing ourselves and start bringing a more cohesive image and a more cohesive pitch to the regulators? Is there anything that we as individuals can do about what's going to happen?
Yeah, so I think we have two strategies. The first is definitely being louder. And, you know, whoever shares anything about, you know, crypto that is a positive use case, or that can, you know, anyone can see how, you know, useful this technology is welcome, or writing any articles, or again, I'll be sharing whatever we are going to do, and then spreading this awareness is very, very welcome. The other thing is that we are also connecting to national organizations. So similarly to how we were working in our member states, we are connecting with other organizations. So we were also talking to different member states, and especially their financial ministries, because they were responsible for the markets and crypto assets regulation drafts in comments. And there's another thing is that we need to start as projects and as people that are active in the space, we need to start preparing for this regulation to come, because it's going to come very soon. It's probably in 2 years, maybe, I don't know, shorter, maybe a longer period, but approximately in 2 years. So whoever is an investor, like VCs are, for example, very interested in this topic, or whoever has a company, or whoever is planning to do something like this, we would need to, you know, start thinking about how this is going to influence the industry. And maybe just another comment, Europe is the first in the world to have such a regulation, because it's a overarching regulation, and is definitely like it's actually regulating everything about crypto assets. So I think that as this you know, draft is going to be finalized, it's also going to be looked at from different jurisdictions, and that's, I think, quite important worldwide.
Thank you so much. So the action points is like, it's gonna come, prepare for that, and spread as much positive things that we know about crypto to the world. Thank you so much, Marina. Okay.
Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. And then we go to the next part of this Crypto Wednesday. Actually, it's 10 to 9, and it's time for another gift. Because of course Roderik has already like given like an amazing gift of a trading card NFT, and yeah, we as the DAO Brussels community want to give you a POAP. That's not a Pope. The Pope lives in Rome. A POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol, and it is in fact also an NFT on the XDAI chain, but you can also transfer it to mainnet, and you can even, if it's on mainnet, you can even trade it on OpenSea. But the big difference between a POAP and any other NFT is that with a POAP, it's not really like intended to trade it. It's more like a personal memory. It's more like a collector's item. Just like if you went to a concert and it was a really nice concert, you would keep the concert ticket. Another way to look at a POAP is that when people start collecting POAPs, every person, they're gonna go to different events. They're gonna maybe do a treasure hunt there, or this or that, and the POAP collection of each individual is gonna start to look more unique and unique. And so in a way, the POAP platform can serve as an identity without you having to give away, like, let's say your address or your telephone number, or stuff like that. And yeah, another nice thing about the POAPs is like, so they're on the XDAI chain. It's also a very cheap platform. And so the POAPs are free to issue and free to claim. And actually it's like it's getting a lot of attraction in the crypto community. Like, and on the next slide, you will see some examples. Like, for example, Adidas has issued POAPs before. Also, a lot of events in the Ethereum community do that, and also the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So to claim your little gift, it's really simple. You can, I'll put a link in the chat. It's the same link as the QR code. So either you scan the QR code with the POAP application, or you click the link, and then it prompts you to like either put in your Ethereum address or put in an email. And if you put in an email, it keeps it safe for you until you put an Ethereum address. And one thing I can recommend is keep some of your addresses private. So if you have like an address, and this goes for every crypto, if you have like an address where like your the majority of, let's say, your Bitcoin holdings or whatever are, like, don't use that address to claim a POAP, because you're in this event. This event is probably going to appear on YouTube as well. Like, it only takes so much to correlate that this address now belongs to you just because you claimed like a little POAP. You get what I'm saying? So there's actually like a tip that we got from a speaker from previous Crypto Wednesday, Bastian from Satoshi. So yeah, long story short, keep your private and your public crypto business, keep it like on separate addresses, separate wallets. But other than that, enjoy your little gift.
Thanks. Yeah, it's staying safe a little bit. Don't be too easy to track down to get the Bitcoin jacked. Bruno, how long do people have to try and claim this POAP?
I think it's going to be valid for like an hour or 2 hours. Like, I can't remember what I configured.
Yeah. That was a moment. All right.
I'll double check if it actually works right now, and I'll also send the link. There you go. And then yeah.
There was a
Somebody
question.
wanted to talk. Somebody had a question?
All right. Okay, well then.
Yeah, thank you, Bruno, for everything. I just want to ask you, in this case, is the best way to contact you is by this chat, or you have maybe other way to contact you?
Yeah, you can contact any one of us in the Discord, or you can also like send a DM in the Discord. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'll stop the recording now.